On the robot, I also just want to show you some important dimensions. I think this bit over here, the height of the camera off the floor is quite important. So that's about exactly 11 centimeters, and that's to the middle of the lens of the camera. And we'll see later why that is important. I also just want to measure the outside of the wheels, because they are actually wider than one would think, to give the robot stability. And we see there that's a good 20 centimeters from the outside of that wheel to the outside of the other wheel. So make it wide, make sure the robot is stable, and then I just want to turn the robot around a little bit. And just point out, if we move it a little bit in this direction here, down here we have the caster wheel, and that little caster wheel ensures the robot is stable in this sort of forward, backwards, linear position. And it's important to just make sure that that caster wheel is just offset 1 or 2 centimeters behind the EV3 brick. Because this EV3 brick is quite heavy, and if the robot is accelerating very fast backwards and it stops, the robot might topple over. So just make sure in your design the wheels are wide enough apart to give the robot stability, and then move this caster wheel at the back. Just make sure it sits behind the EV3 brick, which is heavy because of the rechargeable battery, which we'll discuss later. I just want to show you the lower part of Troopy, and specifically maybe just turn him around a little bit, give you an idea of what it looks like underneath. Sorry, Troopy. Sorry, mate. It's all going to be all right. What I'm trying to show is that although I have used mainly the Lego components, I have reinforced it with some steel bolts here and there just to give it some rigidity. And I have also added just a piece of an aluminium beam, little bit of flat in there, to just add some rigidity, because the robot is quite wide and there's a limit as to how much rigidity you can get from a Lego assembly. I think on this shot it's also quite interesting here, quite clear. Here we can see the little caster wheel, which is just an off-the-shelf item from the robot shop, and you can just mount it quite easily onto that very same piece of aluminium there. And just remember the previous tip that I gave you, to keep the caster wheel just offset a centimeter or so behind the EV3 brick, to make sure it doesn't topple over backwards when it's moving fast or stopping. We can also see in this instance, we can see the 2 color sensors at the front and the back quite nicely, pointing down towards the floor and recording the colors that the robot move over. So either at the back or the front of the robot.